get the spoiler warning right here, right now. And the only time you get a warning that this is the first time we've spoken solo on this channel. Let me know what you think. We're gonna have to see if we like this. We like this open discussion, talking about this horrible writing device and the way that authors treat characters that are beloved. And some may not even be beloved, but all these characters, at least that we'll be speaking of today, have been done dirty, downtrodden, and disrespectfully by their own writing and teams. Don't expect this video to also say that I am going to come up with the answer, or that I'm going to make sure these characters get the deserved rights that they fought for early in their shows, because I'm not a writer. I don't have any writing material. I haven't done anything in that world, but I've watched plenty of things to know what is good writing, what keeps people interested, what shows people enjoy. And all these characters have the traits that everyone wants, but have just been left to rot because it makes it easier for their main characters to use them as a stepping stone. First point has to go down to being the curving the side character, or putting them on the sideline in terms of their power levels, or shown power, talked about power, past power, things that we've been set up in before. First example would go to Kakashi Hatake from Naruto. He starts out the show coming in, talking to you, getting you hyped up about the, oh shit, Kakashi? You're talking the 1,000 Jutsu ninja, the copy ninja, that. I digress. Yeah, that is what they make you believe. That's what they make you believe all through Naruto Part 1.
I believed it.
Shit, he even kind of getting worked up by Itachi and still coming out not too down. He still got a little bit left in him after that, bro. Was still standing, but weak, but still standing. Ain't nobody take 72 hours of crucifixion like he did, brother. Except for Jesus. That boy, he took the crucifixion better now. Have you prayed today? Now, for those who do know, and those who don't know, I'm gonna lay it down right now. The 1,000 Jutsu copy master ninja Sharingan outside the Uchiha Kakashi Hatake. It's degraded down to 3 jutsus. Maybe 1 summon. Oh, but technically it's a pack of dogs, so it's more than 1 summon. Shut your ass up, clown. And 1 power that's a dojutsu that isn't even from his own clan, bro. Has a stolen power, and all the level ups that come with it might technically have to do with his personality, but that doesn't mean shit for me. I'm not talking about his personality. I'm talking about what I was told coming into the show and what I expected from my boy, which was 1,000 MF jutsus, mind you. My boy was supposed to be out here doing what he did with Zabuza, putting into work 17 different jutsu or whatever up in that first arc against that dude. After that, you ain't ever see this man throw up those kinds of gang signs ever again. Brother man sticks to the B's and C's only. And there's 2 reasons for that, brother. Let's keep it a $150. 1, obviously coming up with 1,000 different power moves that are usable into circumstances that help you. That's a lot of animation and thought power. I don't blame you for not having a real 1,000 jutsu, okay? But when I know that the reason it's coming up is so that when our boy who can only throw hands, Naruto, comes on screen, you're not like, oh, can that guy with all the cool powers come back on screen? I'm tired of watching this UFC fight go down when I'm trying to watch chakra networks and shit. I can't deny sometimes that's like a Justin Gagey, Nick Diaz fight, and it's just bodies on bodies, like, you know what I'm talking about? You get those Sasuke versus Narutos, you get those Momoshikis against Narutos. Those are some thrown hands in a fight. That don't mean I'm not gonna sleep in comparison to watching the lightning dragon get summoned down on my brother who's about to die. I ain't even talking sweet on Sasuke. He's one of the weakest characters in the whole show. That's a discussion y'all ain't ready to have yet with y'all weak ass minds. But that's it. Like, shit, they even killed my boy Kakashi up in the pain arc. He didn't even get to show off his jutsus. This was prime time. Hey, Naruto wasn't home. Nobody was around. Guy up out the village. The whole thing was set up so that you could shine, Kakashi. You and Konohamaru. You two were supposed to pop out. I'm with the gang, and it's gonna be a robbery. It's Otaki chain. But you know what ended up happening? You ended up getting pierced like most of your tattoo artists, bruh. Like, you walked up in the shop, and this boy had multiple piercings right up in the middle of his forehead with a big-ass nail sticking up out of his head. I digress, though. Next up, we're gonna be talking about Inumaki Toge from JJK, or Jujutsu Kaisen for the layman. I can't lie, Inumaki is the reason this video even decided to become a thought in my mind. I felt disrespected watching the JJK movie. My ass acting like a Marvel fan watching things go in chronological order, not release date order, but that's okay. Now, the reason I felt so disrespected with Inumaki isn't because I think JJK is one of the greatest shows ever, or that he's a well-written character who has, without any reason or flaws to his design. No, actually, I think quite the opposite. I think JJK is a very standardized show, at least right now it is, and it has the ability to go far with season 2 that I haven't seen yet, so shh. Not to keep it $1.50, it's because I think eye and vocal powers are some of the coolest things you could add to a show, and so when I saw his power was able to command people like demiurges, oh, I was like, this is gonna be interesting. How do you write that into a show where you can command whatever is necessary? Well, I'll tell you how you write that into a show. Sad sacks of lonely, they have a lot of money. JJK sold 90 million copies. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess they're doing something. Psych, that's a lie, because like my first point stated, they put my boy Inumaki on the dirt so that the new main character could step on him to get a cool power. For those who don't know, Inumaki says something, it happens, alright? He say sleep, you sleep. He say die, you die. He say roll over, you roll over. Well, for those who also don't know, in the Japanese language, there's not many words that carry a super weight to them. Something that, when said, carries that, wow. That's like when you received your first kill yourself message on 360 or something, huh? However, the phrase die, yes, just the phrase die, the classic weeaboo understanding of the word shine, that carries much weight in their language. Inumaki only met this kid one time, alright? Outside of class, where everyone else trained with him, he built better relationships between Panda and the Maki girl. I think her name, I don't really remember, and I'm not looking it up. Those are the two people he was building a lot of rapport with. The main character was so bummy from the first movie, with no carryover, no crossover, and no built up anything between the two people, that I actually had to just look up this dude's name so I could tell you. And now that I see it, I only remember because I remember her going, you die. And Yuta was scared. He didn't even talk to Inumaki. Bro didn't even have anything built up with him. And then all of a sudden, bro, at the end of the movie, when fighting one of the coldest dudes we've seen in this show, somebody I know pops out in season 2. Alright? Mr. Destroy Those Who Are Weak, Sugaru Geto, and then hits him with the one word that through season 1, Inumaki wasn't able to say, because it took too much strain on his voice to even say phrases like crush or twist, enough that it would make him cough, wheeze, need medicine. No, but you know what? With no repercussion, no training, no becoming friends, no seasonal build-up, no anything, this boy Yuta gets given an Inumaki treasure one time. You say any words you want and blows all of Inumaki's thunderish load that he could have built up for another season, another day, and a great moment when it was needed to really at everybody. No, give it to Yuta to yell through a megaphone so that Geto can just shine. Except bro's a bitch, so the screen doesn't even change color. The only thing that happens is some cool animation death where they just be like eviscerating into nothingness. Like, there is nothing cool like Inumaki has. He be saying run away. It hits. The screen stops. People look. You listen. In the movie, I was like, you did not just use the word that could have hit hardest for this boy. The one jutsu that this guy could have carried in this show that nobody else could have used. And you gave it to a character who didn't even show up in season 1 and was only in a movie for an hour and a half. I want to bring up one of the final points that can be done to these side characters in the most disrespectful way possible. And again, spoiler warnings. This is a good show. Go watch it. This is Tokyo Ghoul. We're talking about Arima, the White Reaper. And he gets done in one of the most disrespectful ways ever. I already told you the spoiler warning. This guy dies. And he doesn't die in a good way. It doesn't make sense. Nobody remembers that he dies because it shouldn't even have happened. Watching that shit with my girlfriend, she had seen the show. She loved this. One of her favorite stories. She didn't even remember he died until it popped out because she was like, damn, that shit didn't make sense and it was trash. Because that shit was trash and it didn't make sense. Because for Arima, how it's set up that makes him bad is the whole time in the show, he's top dog over there. I don't remember. This is the Quink's headquarters. They ain't even Quinks yet at that point, I don't think. They're fighting him. is constant struggles between human, ghoul, but the one guy that no matter what ghoul pops out, everyone, human and ghoul, is afraid of is Arima.
Or the White Reaper.
Why? Because he be going toe to toe with the biggest dogs in the show like it's nothing. Like legendary people. We're talking the owl. We're talking the other owl. We're talking the other owl. What the fuck? This shit's trash writing anyway. And with still no world buildup, I still feel robbed of this guy and all of his power. Because you know when we see him fight the owl, and then, oh, psych, he didn't fight again with the owl. Oh, he fights with Kaneki. He fights with Kaneki when Kaneki's not even going ballisto mode. And then he throws himself onto his blade. Let me repeat that. Bro kills himself. He figured it'd be easier to kill himself and not watch this world grow up together, ghoul and human alike. He'd rather just off himself because he knew nobody else was doing it to him. Unless he took his own life, ain't nobody got the works to put him in a box. But like why? Like why couldn't he have just stayed up? Now I'm happy my boy Juzo got promoted because of this, but that doesn't mean that Juzo deserved the promotion. He should have had to go hand to hand against the Reaper to become the true Reaper. You don't just hand that dub out to anybody. But not only did bro hand out his title like it was candy at Halloween, he handed out his own KDR. His boy put his KD down bad. How you gonna let somebody who ain't even close to your level put you in a position that makes you just want to kill yourself? Because it wasn't that he was down in the fight, it's that he didn't like the world. He was like, I'm just tired of this shit, I'll catch y'all later. And as a viewer, how am I supposed to be okay with that? I mean, I just watched this boy for almost 4 seasons. This guy throws himself on a blade and just walks away. Same way Kakashi gets hit with a nail, brought back, never seen again, and is a lover with fucking Guy Sensei in Boruto. And you see the same shit with Toge. Toge ain't got no thunder left. He ain't got nothing that he can use on them. The only way bro can get better with it is if he's more descriptive with the death. But then that just doesn't hit as hard because it's not as hard. The word Shine hits like a fucking punch to the face, bro. It's like it broke my nose with vocab. I'm not saying that doesn't mean there's not a chance for these characters. I'm not saying that these characters are bad or that they're not written well anymore. Or I'm just saying that now they've withered away. They're pointless. They lost the edge they had at the beginning of the show. Or at the moment of truth, they turned into Fumblebee. And they end up slipping and hitting the blade. Like, look at Kakashi Hatake, who beat out Naruto Uzumaki in his own show on a popularity poll, isn't going to be given the respect he's deserved. It's just disrespectful to these characters. Like, look at Arima, bro. He built up an entire empire underneath him with the strength he had, and then bro threw himself on the blade of the main character for what? They had only talked like maybe once, twice if you consider when bro had been brainwashed, and Arima was like,
This guy's pretty cool. I'm glad we had taken him from the ghouls because he's helpful.
And that was it. That was it. So you can't in good conscience, after hearing some of these points, knowing the shows or not knowing the shows, and be like, something's off with these characters. They sound like they were written to be way cooler at the beginning. Like they might have had a ton of power. They might have had influence on the world, the decisions people make, the fights, the outcomes of wars. But no. You know what ends up happening? They turn into fumbles. They turn into bag drops. They turn into L's. They turn into old men pushing other old men on wheelchairs. They grow up and slip on a banana peel, or they grow up and their friend steals the limelight, making them look so dumb. And for what though? All because you didn't want to write characters that had backstories of trouble, that had to go through hardships, that had a lot of thought and animation in your mind and on paper behind them, that you had the money to do, that you had the platform to stand on and broadcast what you wanted to, but you ended up going down these paths. It might be a group project, but you're still the head of the Hydra, as an author at least, because it is your story. You might have people on your team or illustrators or things you can or cannot do. So then keyboard warriors in the comment sections, authors at home, or people who just watch shit like me. What do you think this is? Is this something crazy? Am I losing my mind? Are these characters well written and I'm just the fool? Or is everyone in agreement that these people were done dirty, they were disrespectfully taken away from the show in a way that was not written in well, they were just used as writing devices to prop up main characters, and that might not have been how they started, but that's how they ended up. So like I said, if you came into this video as an author thinking I'd give you the answer, sorry not sorry, you ain't getting an answer. I'm bringing up a discussional point. I'm bringing it up so that all the inspired readers and writers of the future don't give more credit to characters than characters are due. You know, Kakashi's only got so much. Arima's only got so much, and it's because of how they ended up. You know, if I take them at their face value when we first met them, yeah, some of the most goated characters you could think of in these stories, but when you look at them over the whole story, you kind of start to forget their name at some point. Now, this is not the end of the discussion. I will definitely be bringing up more points in videos like this as time goes on. And for the one guy who reads Westerners and reads Westerner things and stuck around this long, General Grievous would be your Western option for this example. One's coming out soon again, specifically diving in more on Naruto and its writing and its episodes, as well as an Assassin's Creed series with everything ever on an Assassin's Creed game, from a true 100% with glitches and everything. Looking at all of the menus you don't want to figure out and making sure to tie the whole overarching story that you guys probably didn't even know existed. Same goes for looking at all the shows you don't have to, the stories you don't want to, and figuring out why characters didn't hit the way you thought they would. Because you know what? Nothing's better than having a thinker think for you and a grinder grind for you. Hey, yo! Hey, well, if you made it this far in the video, please drop a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Check the descriptions, look at old videos, go tell your friends about this. Maybe go discuss it with them. You ain't even gotta tell them about this. Go rip these points and act like they're your own, just like you did with every other video you've watched today. Godspeed, soldiers, and see you later, Space Cowboy.